Alright, here we go. Good morning, USA. This is Mr. McBee, your host. Good morning, C. Beagle, D-Rob, Edward Black, Jim and Angela over at Victor's Libertas, Beverly Cook, Carrie Love, all of you. Let me share this. It's a little bit of Brian over at High Impact Flix's video on YouTube creators being attacked by none other than YouTube. And what I mean is they're being censored. Good morning, guys. And of course we all know it's not just YouTube doing the censoring, Twitter's doing the censoring, Facebook is doing the censoring. Boy, even Keurig.com the last couple of days has gotten into the act. Got to be politically correct. So Brian over at High Impact Flix, I'm a very low budget YouTube creator, so if you happen to see this, just know that I'm not a very low budget, almost a no budget YouTube creator. As of yet, I haven't got any donations. I haven't sought them out too much because I was working for a while. But I mean, this is on the skeleton budget right now. So with that, no further ado, let me bring you a little bit of Ryan's video about these YouTube creators in there. They're consistently being attacked. Whether YouTube is getting this information from people just randomly reporting things they don't like. Come on, guys, let's grow up. There has to be dissenting opinions at some point. I mean, there has to be that open conversation, or this world will never grow. I mean, this country will never grow. People will never grow. We won't grow mentally, we won't grow spiritually, we won't grow physically. It will bring us down, down, and down. Further and further down, 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 down. I want you all to pay attention now. I'm going to share at least a little bit of Brian over at High Impact Flix's video with you.
Before I begin, I want to see if after you watch this, you take a minute and send this video to every YouTuber I mention or to whatever channel creator you're subscribed to. Have them get in touch with me. We all need to form a strong network of content creators and viewers who will stand up for each other and rally a massive number of people to come against YouTube censorship. Currently, our individual ideologies are keeping us divided, and that's a great way to lose the battle and eventually the war. I'm pretty sure we can all find enough common ground to rally together behind the fight against censorship. My contact information will be in the description. What if I walked into your house one night, unannounced and unwelcomed, and while you're sitting there with your family watching your favorite show, I rip the remote control out of your hand, inform you that you can no longer watch your favorite TV show, and change the channel to what I thought you should be watching? And what if I just sat there to monitor your actions to make sure that you wouldn't switch back the channel to what I told you not to watch? You'd probably immediately get up, kick my ass for trespassing on your property, and then kick my ass again for thinking I had the right to censor what you're watching. How about this? What if I remotely accessed your TV without even entering your house? What if I hacked into your TV or cable or satellite box and just eliminated your favorite shows altogether and offered my favorites, my choices? And what if all you ever saw on your recommended watch list were things that I personally shoved to the top so that my choices were the only choices you had? And what if the reason I gave for doing all that was that the people you like to watch violated my cable or satellite company's terms of service, even though they really didn't? Or if they had, it was a nonsense terms of service policy to begin with, designed to censor the content you like to watch. How would you feel about that? You subscribe to a service like a cable or satellite company for the specific reason of watching your favorite shows or games on your favorite channels, and then somebody comes along and tells you you can't watch them or just eliminates those shows and channels altogether. If you're like most self-determining adults who have no need of an authoritarian overlord or a third party constantly policing your activities, and if you have any perception of right and wrong, this would infuriate you. And rightly so. Well, such an authoritarian control is happening to you every single day. Millions of people, including you, who have subscribed to certain YouTube channels have found that the channels you love and were subscribed to have vanished, or the channel owner has lost his or her ability to upload content or live stream because of supposed content violations. Or maybe that channel is on the brink of termination due to supposed YouTube violations. Think about this. No one forced you to subscribe to these channels. No one came to your house, put a gun to your head, and made you push that subscribe button. You pushed it because you want to see and hear the content that channel creator produces. Period. But then someone comes along and removes that channel, which essentially means they forcibly removed your subscription without your consent. They made you unsubscribe. This whole thing has just as much to do with you being controlled by an unwelcome third party as it has to do with that channel creator losing his or her channel and, for some, their livelihood. In other words, they aren't just censoring the content of certain channels. They're broad brush censoring you. How does that make you feel? A censored society is a controlled society. And if you want to be controlled as an individual and therefore as a society, I do not apologize when I say with Samuel Adams, if you love wealth, or in this case if you love people controlling what you see and hear, better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains set lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you were our countrymen. As harsh as this may sound, my true friends, the ones I want to stand beside shoulder to shoulder in the fight for freedom, are not the ones I agree with on everything. They're the ones who will fight for every last shred of individual liberties they can preserve until their dying breath. And I'm not talking about these people just fighting for their liberties. I'm talking about they'll fight tooth and nail to preserve my liberties and your liberties as if their own freedom was at stake. Because you know what? Our freedoms are in danger if someone else's freedoms are. And if you do nothing about it, it's just a matter of time before injustice pays you a visit.
I'm sorry. I'm going to let this play out because I think it's important, even though it's probably run on Brian's channel, High Impact Flicks, for a long time, and he's probably got numerous views. I'm going to let it run through and play the whole video out, simply because I think it needs to be shared and reshared. In Brian over at High Impact Flicks, I have shared it out with the share via the share button. But this is just another way. It's extremely. I'm on an extremely low budget. Virtually have no money. I'm unemployed. I have a little. I have my disability income, which is not very much. It's measly. But I think this is important to somehow mirror what he's talking about, because Brian is absolutely right. This channel will be dedicated from here on out to your freedoms, your liberty, and true justice. There isn't enough anymore. We've gone so far in the hole. It's crazy. But anyway, with that said, I'm going to let the rest of this video play out. Then we'll get on to some good news, some other news. Hopefully some good news. So let's finish this off here with Brian at High Impact Flicks.
We as a society of individuals viewed all injustice like that, I think we'd have a brand new, freedom-infused life. True lovers of freedom view it like this. If an injustice is happening to you, that same injustice might as well be happening to them, and they cannot, in good conscience, turn their eyes and ears away from it with the thought that, well, at least this isn't happening to me. In essence, those who love liberty,
I agree totally.
And I'm talking about the liberty that does no harm to anyone except in cases of self-defense or in the defense of others. Those who love liberty love it for everyone, indiscriminately. Why? Because without freedom, there can only be oppressive slavery. Such a level of oppressive slavery that it leads to the death of the individual soul. Wouldn't you rather die on your feet as a free man or woman than live on your knees licking the unforgiving and brutal boots of your oppressors? If you can convince people that freedom is injustice, they will then believe that slavery is freedom. And with the exception of fewer and fewer people, that's the world we live in today. What people don't realize is that censorship subdues individual thought, and therefore subdues the individual. Sam Adams knew this as well. He said, "No mindful and alert people will tamely surrender their liberties, nor can any be easily subdued as long as knowledge is diffused and virtue is preserved." On the contrary, when people are universally ignorant and debauched in their manners through censorship or otherwise, they will sink under their own weight without the aid of foreign invaders. And that is what's happening today. Our society is sinking under the weight of its own ignorance. YouTube and other haters of free thought can couch their censorship in a cloud of deceptive community guidelines terms all they want. But their actions boil down to barring each and every one of us as individuals from the content we want to see. As much as I despise their arrogance, deceptive practices, and condescending tones, I would never call for the censorship of the Young Turks or any other channel with which I strongly disagree. The free market, filled with free people, will decide for themselves what kind of content they want to consume. Do the Young Turks propagate deceptive and dangerous ideologies? Yes. But one of the first things we need to come to terms with about freedom is it's dangerous. But dangerous freedom has always been less dangerous than peaceful slavery. So in the context and spirit of indiscriminate freedom in the face of major and minor disagreements, I'm going to highlight some channels that are being jeopardized by community guideline strikes, have been restricted, or have already lost everything simply because they hold an opinion that runs contrary to mainstream narratives. Remember, whether I agree or disagree with any of these channels is not the point. The intent of this video is to combat censorship by promoting differing perspectives. Perspectives you may want to listen to and consider, or just flat out reject. This is not a blank check endorsement for any of these channels. And here's what I have to say to all the crybabies out there who don't like content like this, or like to flag people because they're offended about what these channels say. Don't watch the things that offend you. It's as simple as that. And if you really don't like opposing views, start your own channel exposing the channels with which you disagree. But don't ask for the authoritarian controls of censorship, which have the strong potential to boomerang back toward you and take your own head off, silencing your voice in one fell swoop of ironic force. I'll leave the link to all these channels and backup channels so you can decide for yourself if you want to subscribe or not. Remember E.T. Williams, the doctor of common sense? I just learned that his channel is completely gone. He created another channel called The Truth, Damn It, and it was also terminated. I've reached out to E.T., but I haven't heard back from him. Here's E.T.'s backup channel if you want to subscribe to him. The TJ Kirk channel has over 1 million subscribers, but the way YouTube has him bowed down, you'd think he only had about 50,000 subs. His channel name used to be The Amazing Atheist. Again, whether you agree with him or not, this guy has been on the receiving end of a massive censorship campaign that directly impacts all of us. Casey over at Enter the Stars, that's 5T4RZ, had over 50,000 subscribers. He got a strike 1, 2, and 3 community guideline strike barrage from YouTube, and poof. All that hard work and dedication is gone because somebody didn't like him questioning mainstream narratives and digging deep to find answers. And check this out. Some of the strikes he got came from videos he had set to private where no one can see them unless they have the exact URL, and they still took his channel down. You can check out his content at his backup channel, Enter the Stars Reloaded. Remember, that's 5T4RZ. The channel Richie from Boston is the recent takedown in a growing list of vanishing channels. I'll let Richie tell you in his own words what happened.
Here we go. November 2nd, video's been removed. Guideline strikes. This video was simply me speaking over footage I took of the moon. Nothing more, nothing less. 250,000 views, 60 thumbs down, 8,000 thumbs up. The very next day, your month in review. Hooray! 7 whole years, blah, blah, blah. There you go. The very next day, guideline strike because I used news footage of Burning Man. Same as everyone else, no big deal, no problem. Guideline strike. So that makes 2. The next day, your account has been terminated. Aleister Crowley, that's it. Flagged for removal. I now have 3 community guideline strikes in 3 days. The account is terminated. The account's been terminated, and yet I still got a copyright takedown notice. The account is terminated. They still gave me a takedown notice. The channel doesn't exist anymore for all intents and purposes. They still give me a takedown notice, and then an hour later, we reviewed you and you have not been in violation. As such, we have unsuspended. This means your account is once again active and operational. Here we go. They just said they reviewed it, and yet all 4 guideline strikes remain, and the copyright strike that I received while the account was terminated remains. So the account is now reinstituted, unsuspended, as you can see, and then here we go. Within 8 minutes, 6 separate copyright strikes. Over and over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more that night. And another copyright strike I fought, and it got turned over. So they
Joseph Watson, Cult of Dusty, Alex Jones, Lauren Southern, Stephen Crowder.
So the account is now reinstituted, unsuspended, as you can see. And then here we go. Within 8 minutes, they said after review, we've discovered you're not. After review, we discovered 4 of them, making my channel a link.
Illegitimate violations on his account and made him the owner of a dead channel. Even though he has access to it, he can't upload, he can't do anything. If you want to check him out, his new channel is Richie from Boston too. By the way, guys, if you want to reach out to YouTube on behalf of these channel creators, I'm told that @TeamYouTube on Twitter is one of the best ways to get your opinions heard. I think it would be great if everyone who heard this would take a couple minutes out of their day to go to bat for these guys. Because the truth is, you're really going to bat for yourselves, since this censorship garbage affects each and every one of us in a very bad way. Here's some more channels you might want to consider visiting, and I'm going to go through them real quick. Mark Dice, Lisa Haven, Next News Network, AMTV, Paul Joseph Watson, Cult of Dusty, Alex Jones, Lauren Southern, Stephen Crowder, H3 Productions, Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, Matt Christensen, The Vigilant Christian, Jacqueline Glenn, Styx Hexenhammer 666, Stefan Molyneux, Roaming Millennial, Sargon of Akkad, Larkin Rose, Bearing, Undoomed, and We Are Change. If you'll notice, these aren't just conservative channels or Christian channels or atheist channels. There are people being censored regardless of their religious beliefs, content genre, or political affiliation. I don't care if you're a gamer or a news organization. Every bit of censorship affects every single one of us. And remember, guys, this is not a blank check endorsement for any of these channels. Personally, I'm subscribed to all these guys because they have thoughtful content that I find enlightening, encouraging, or even entertaining. And like most of you, it's rare that I meet someone that I agree with on every single point. The bigger picture here is that there's a nefarious third party out there trying to censor what you and I see and hear. And they think they know better than you what you should be exposed to. I know this video doesn't even scratch the surface of what's going on YouTube. If you want me to do more videos highlighting channels that have been having trouble with being censored, let me know in the comments.
Yes, Brian, at High Impact Clicks, you should do more videos.
We all really need to stand together and use the vehicle of social media to fight the evils of censorship till the wheels of this vehicle fall off. Remember, it does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. Share this video with every YouTuber and viewer you know. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Okay, so
if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with others. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe notification button and you'll be alerted when I upload new videos.
It's very important that we, reach out to these YouTube creators.
Taxation is legalized theft.
Let's see if I can.
Thinking in progress. Please
Yeah.
stand by. $5 off promo code is in a link.
So anyway, in this video, High Impact Flicks, it's the video every YouTuber and viewer needs to see. It can happen to you as a YouTube creator, even as a subscriber. Apparently there may be some of you getting unsubscribed from my channel already, and I've only got I currently, it says I have 15 subscribers. I should have a whole lot more by now. My content isn't extremely awesome, but I try very hard to do what I can. Hang on just a minute. Let me go back to that video for a second. Is trying to find some information for you. Where's the other links here? Okay, so he's got all the YouTuber links here. Okay, guys. And that includes Gary Franchi over at Next News Network. His channel is being targeted. You know, as Brian over at Flix has just got through saying. So at any rate, let's get on with some news here. And I'm going to highlight that this way. I was planning on doing something different, but we're going to just go with that. And Brian over at High Impact Flicks, I certainly hope you don't mind me. I'm a very low budget way of me resharing. But I'm very low budget. I have $0 to be doing this with. I have a computer and I have a tablet. My tablet is suffering some memory loss right now. Which is where I would usually do this, because it's much easier and much more intuitive. And it has its advantages. Excuse me just one moment. Whew. Thought I was going to knock the computer down. Good morning, y'all. Yeah, I drink coffee for everyone's protection. That's just me. Anyway, so we're at about 22 minutes. I think you'd like this. Stay tuned. Well, shall I give this to you? This one was courtesy. By the way, go over to Brian and thank Brian over at High Impact Flicks. I mean, he's brought together some knowledge for every YouTube creator and every YouTube subscriber. I totally agree with him. Don't report YouTube creators just for the hell of it. Let's all grow up and try to understand their point of view. Yeah, and that's what the comment sections are for. If you're in disagreement with something, disagree with it. If you're in agreement with something, agree with it in the comment section. Very rarely will I flag somebody's comment, even either here or anywhere else. I mean, that's very rare. And it's extremely rare that your comments will get flagged here. Only time I might consider doing that, but I first give it quite a bit of thought. Only time I might consider doing that is you know, extreme death threats against people. You know, if you're too extreme that way. You know, but it would have to be pretty blatant for me to report it. And, you know, it would have to seem to me as a blatant attempt to just want to go out and off somebody, if you will. Oh, look, I got another video for you. How about we do this, okay? Trump's approval ratings skyrockets. This is courtesy of Conservative Tribune CT. And this report is, let me see, by Ben Marquis, November 13th, 2017 at 11:21 a.m. So I'm going to give this to you guys. We're going to share a video with you. Stay tuned. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hang on, let me see if I can do this better for you. You guys gonna have to tell me if you can see that okay. How's that? So we'll close that off. So I think you got the message. Trump's approval rating skyrockets after successful Asia trip.
Mr. President, from my heart, thank you for your support of the military. And it's an honor to be here as one of several Vietnam veterans representing the 58.
Well, let me read some to you here because I think this is important that we get this out. President Donald Trump was in the Philippines on Monday as part of the final stop on a whirlwind 12-day tour of Asia that included warm reception by the gracious hosts of Japan, South Korea, China, and Vietnam, according to Fox News. And yes, China actually rolled out the red carpet for President Trump. How about that? That's kind of funny. Unsurprisingly, the devotedly anti-Trump mainstream media has chosen to nitpick any and everything they can find wrong with his trip, from allegedly overfeeding fish in a koi pond in Japan to supposedly being played by Russian President Vladimir Putin on the sidelines of an economic summit. Of course, Trump's tweets. All right, yes. This video is going to go a little bit over. I try to keep it to about 30 minutes, but we're going to go a little bit over on this. The mainstream media has gotten absurd. They're still talking about allegations, alleged allegations against Judge Roy Moore. I implore you not to believe it. I implore you to continue supporting Donald. I implore you to continue to support Judge Roy Moore. Until we find solid evidence against him, not these made-up allegations. And I'm sorry. This is a liberal plan to silence us as conservatives. We must not let them win. We must not let them win. And just for the record, I am not a Republican. I am an independent conservative. And I lean libertarian. So in some cases I lean libertarian. Other cases I lean very conservative. In other cases I might be a slightly liberal. But it depends. However, your freedom and your liberty will not be challenged here on this channel. Like I said, there's very few things that I will report. Yeah, we got to stop that nonsense and just make the comments. Some of these people that may be anti-Trump, some of them have some, they can actually carry on a good, argument for their disagreement of his election and all that stuff. But besides that, let's get on here. Unsurprisingly, devotedly anti-Trump mainstream media has chosen to nitpick in any and everything they can find wrong with this trip, from allegedly overfeeding fish in a koi pond in Japan to supposedly being played by Russian President Vladimir Putin on the sidelines of an economic summit, and of course Trump's tweets. But anyone who pays attention to various events Trump participated in along his journey know that the trip actually went exceedingly well, as he was given honor, respect at every stop and delivered powerful speeches that laid out his vision for U.S. Indo-Pacific relations going forward. Unlike the media, which has downplayed and dismissed the trip, it appears the American people realized how much of a success it really was. The president's approval rating has trended upward over the duration of his being overseas, according to the Rasmussen Daily Presidential Tracking Poll. Maybe we ought to pay more attention to the Rasmussen polls, because maybe they're trying to do things correctly, do them right, with integrity. And by the way, that brings up the old series I had was Rise Up America, and I did a video on integrity of self. I think you ought to check that out, because it's a pretty cool video. And I think what I'm going to do on many of my subscriptions that I have with different creators, I think I'm going to leave a link to some of these episodes where, I think they're worth your while. I'm a very small-time YouTube creator, and I don't have much. I have almost zero funds, in the bank or otherwise. Anyway, so the latest update of that poll showed that 46% of likely voters approved of the job Trump has done, President Trump has done, so far, as opposed to 53% of who disapprove. Okay, so 46% of likely voters approved of the job Trump has done so far, as opposed to 53% who disapprove. Trending, Vietnam War vet breaks down and cries in touching moment with President Trump. Okay. Looking deeper, some 30% of likely voters strongly approve of Trump, and 44% strongly disapprove. By comparison, just 5 days ago, November 8th, those strong numbers were 26% approve and 49% disapprove, respectively, meaning Trump is moving in the right direction. More broadly, factoring in all of the major polls, the Real Clear Politics average placed Trump's job approval for the week that ended November 11th at 38.8%, with 56.3% registering their disapproval. But even that compilation of polls, many of which are stacked against the president, showed an upward trend over the final leg of Trump's Asia trip, as the average rating on November 8th was 38.2% approval to 56.8% disapprove. Aside from the incredibly friendly and respectful reception Trump received from his hosts at each stop along the trip, one reason Trump's approval ratings have turned upward may be the plethora of business deals he helped forge and finalize along the way. At each point along the trip, Trump emphasized the outlook on trade going forward, and it was decidedly America first, with a focus on fair and reciprocal bilateral trade between the U.S. and our many allies and friends in the region, not multilateral agreements unfairly stacked against the U.S. And I agree totally with that concept, with that idea. Coinciding with that were at least 37 major business deals totaling more than $250 billion and linked by an accompanying delegation of American business leaders in China alone, according to CNBC. What do you know? American businesses are the most innovative in the world, and when given access, can compete with anyone, stated Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, who has been by Trump's side throughout the trip. I believe these deals can provide a solid foundation for a strong relationship that is more free, fair, and reciprocal between the U.S. and China. I also happen to believe that. And just to relay the link here, I'm going to share with you. Report, KGU sent Putin a letter outlining attack on American soil. So, pay attention, Americans. Pay attention, patriots. Alright, so those business deals and many others to follow, no doubt, will pump hundreds of billions of dollars into the U.S. economy, work to lessen the trade imbalance between the U.S. and China, among others, and help create an untold number of jobs for American workers over the coming years. Without the use of a magic wand, a la dismissive former illegal President, you finish that statement. Is President Barack Obama, fake President Obama, or illegal President Obama? That's my belief. I firmly believe he was illegally elected. I firmly believe he's still in the U.S., probably illegally. And I will firmly believe that for many, 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 many years to come. Alright, so President Trump has helped unleash our nation's economy through a combination of good faith, regulations, negotiations, and economic pressure. And if the poll tells us anything, the people are taking notice of that fact. Please share this on Facebook and Twitter, so everyone can see that President Trump's approval numbers are improving as he reaches the end of his successful trip around Asia. What do you think of the job Trump has done for America while on his trip to Asia? Scroll down to comment below. With that said, I'm going to tell all American patriots, all you conservatives, what the hell are you doing going against the President of the United States? This is Donald Trump, and he knows what the hell he's doing. I know this for a fact. I see what's going on. Our current president, Donald Trump, is setting rat traps for the rats in Washington, D.C. And I follow this for a long time, and I've been following politics now for probably a good 10, 15 years. Pretty solidly. Really, I hate it, but I just believe that for some reason it's something I need to do. One further thing on this channel, I'm going to do my best to update it. This channel may be moved to a new link, and it'll probably have something to do. It'll probably say Good Morning USA or GMU. GMU. In a little circle by my name or my comments. So if you'd like to subscribe to that channel, maybe take a look at it. There's nothing there right now except a video that failed to upload because I guess at the time it was too long. But anyway, so I'll do a short video on there and I'll test it out and see, test things out and see what's going on. I have lots of plans for you. I'm gonna attempt to make this channel much more exciting. May introduce a second host at some point. But with that said, I may end up having to ask for some funding, as I don't know. This takes a lot of memory. Takes an exorbitant amount of memory and resources on the computers and the tablets and the mobile devices. In order for me to continue, I may have to go that route. So just to let you know on that. All right. So that was the news of the day. If you didn't know, now you know. By the way, remember, love one another. Don't be pansies, but love one another. Keep that spirit of love alive. And remember, God is watching. All right? Peace and love. Okay? God be with you all. I'm trying to do this the wrong way.